Okay, so this should cover about 4 hours of a tutor in C++ programming and about 5 hours of self-study. So let's just get started. An IDE is an integrated development environment. This one is called Visual Studio. Okay, it contains the text editor, okay, which is here, editing text here, um, the assembler, and the compiler. Here we see a line of readable C++ code, x equals x plus y, and it goes through the assembler in the IDE, what we just saw. It gets turned into 4 lines of assembly language. Assembly language speaks directly to the computer via the compiler. So the assembly language goes through the compiler here and turns into machine code. Each line of assembly language has a corresponding line of machine code, aka ones and zeros. Um, so one line of C++ programming gets turned into 4 lines of assembly, gets turned into 4 lines of machine code. So ones and zeros are called bits, and they are typically ordered in groups of 8 called bytes, okay? And they are stored in the form of memory blocks in the computer. Variables are blocks of memory with names and addresses. Variables can be many different types called data types. Here are the primitive data types: int, short, long, and long, long, float, double, and long, double. Okay, the data type int is an integer and stores a number from -2 billion to +2 billion and takes up 4 bytes of memory. You declare an int by giving it a name slash declaring it. Any name slash declaration will do. So int nombre equals 1122. It has been named, aka given, has been named and given a value, aka initialized, with the value of 1122. So it has been declared nombre and initialized with 1122. Okay, all of this information is stored in a block of memory in RAM called a variable. RAM is memory for storing information about a program. And this information will disappear when the program is closed. Here are other data types that can be declared and initialized, like int. Short is like int, but takes less memory and stores more limited values, -30,000 to +30,000, but only takes 2 bytes. Long is longer than int and takes 8 bytes. Long is longer than int and takes up over 8 bytes. Floats, doubles, and long doubles are basically integers, but with decimals. That is the only difference. Here are variables of data type int with some names declared and sometimes values initialized. You can declare multiple variables of the same type in one line separated by commas. So here you see the int is declared, declared, declared. They're ints declared, but they aren't initialized. And then we have ints declared, int7, int90, and sum. They are declared and initialized. Int6 is declared as int6 and initialized 654. Variables can be named with letters, digits, and underscores, but they can't be only digits. They can't start with a digit. They are case sensitive, so upper and lowercase matters. Okay, strings are sequences of characters enclosed in quotation marks. That is to say, normal sentences They can be declared and initialized like other variables. Chars are like strings, but much more limited. They only contain one character and are enclosed in apostrophes. Um, a char takes up 1 byte, whereas a string can hold a limited information, assuming your computer can hold that much. Here are some string variables declared and sometimes initialized. Okay, so anyways, so as you can see, this string cento is initialized in quotation marks. This loneliness is killing me and ended with a semicolon. Okay, and as you can see, this character named this one character is learning finance equals n is also ending with a semicolon. Okay. Um, each of these uh, strings and characters are ended with a semicolon, and all variables end with a semicolon. If you noticed, all of the ints also ended with semicolon. The semicolon means the end of a statement. Declaring and initializing a variable is a statement. Declaring a variable is a statement. Any line of code that will be executed, as in an instruction line, is a statement. As seen in this code here, I'll just run it so you know what the output looks like. So, okay, and I'll just show you this code here. I'll just run it so you know what it looks like. Okay, so the output is int age equals 25, short equals 100, long equals what that number, float price equals 9.99, and the string um, name equals spheres. So uh, that's what its outputs. But let's just keep going. Statements are read by the computer in order from left to right, top to bottom. So these are the statements that are being output. Everything with the C out in front of it is what is being output. See, there are 4 C outs. There are 4 outputs here. And you know, all these statements are necessary for this output. And they're read from left to right, top to bottom, unless there's a loop or conditional, which we'll talk about in another video. Functions are a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. So this is a function. We'll cover this as well in the next video. All you need to know is that the main function, um, uh, this main is a function. This entire thing is a function, and that in each program there can only be one main function, as it is the entry port to the entire program. Entire video games only have one main function. Include is how to include objects from different libraries or other programs. So we're including input-output stream here, and we're including string. So we can use string and we can use cout. As you can see, std : cout outputs certain variables to the screen. Each double less than sign means another variable or string is going to be output in order until a semicolon. So as you can see, this outputs this string int age, see, corresponds to this. Then it outputs this variable named age, and that value is 25, so it outputs 25. And then it outputs this, but you don't see that on the screen. That is because slash \n in quotation marks is just outputting a new line. So as you can see, these are on different lines, age and short on different lines. Yeah, it's just basically the enter key, putting it on a new line. So if we go back to the PowerPoint, you can see the special characters you can put into a string to have these effects. That is this. Um, obviously we have new line, then we have you know, backspace, I haven't really used these. I've only really used new line. But in case you need to put quotation marks, obviously that will end the string unless you put a slash in front of it, and then you can quote a quotation mark. So, or have a quotation mark output to the screen. So as you can see, strings and variables are output to the screen in long statements. The long statements are possible as variables and strings are concatenated together with two less than signs, aka the stream output operators. The only things output to the screen are those after cout, obviously, and the character output object. An object is a group of functions and variables that performs a task. Cout is an object from the input-output stream library. And finally, why does cout have std : in front of it? That is because it is an object from the standard library, and you must specify the library / directory that the object is from, as it is not built into C++, unlike int and short and long. Those are built into C++. Cout and string are not built into C++, so you need to import them from other libraries. Okay. And car, char, and double are also built in C++. So I guess let me just explain the code here. So int age is declared as age and initialized at 25, and then is called here. As you can see, just outputs age. This is declared only. These two are declared in multiple lines. They aren't used in the code, so these are basically unnecessary. As you can see, they aren't used in the output of the code at all. We have small, which is a short, long, which is big, and so they're output to the screen. They're called here and here. Long is not output to the screen, which is fine. The float price, which is a short double, is output to the screen here. And obviously the string name Spears is let's see, yes, is output to the screen. And also has the backslash quotation marks, so you can see in quotations Spears. And yeah, I hope you can read this line of code. It's just outputting all of that to the screen. And as you can see, there's this green text here, and that is a comment. Everything that has 2 forward slashes in front of it is not read by the compiler, or and it is for documentation and readability in code only. Yes. A string is output, then int age is output, then a new line is output. That's what this means. And hopefully you can read all of this and see how it ends up as this. Okay. All right. Let's just do a small exercise. We're going to output int x, int a, and int b. So pause for a second, and how would we output that? Okay, unpause. Let's see. Let's see out. Int. No. X, comma a. Well, actually, let's just put a space there and a comma, and then see we're outputting um, a and b. Okay, and then ending with a semicolon. So what do you think that's going to output? Okay, uninitialized variable. Oh, that's true. X hasn't been initialized yet, so it won't output anything. So, okay, let's just get rid of it. All right, well, we'll output A and B. That's fine. So, 10 and 20. Kind of scuffed, but you can see how it's output. Okay, that ends the video. Have a nice day.